Yeah. Hang on.
Okay. All right, I got to get logged in here anyway, so. Okay, can you hear me? Oh, no, you're not over there. Can you hear me now? Oh, you're muted. I can't hear you.
On my nose.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna put the title is So Much JENergy podcast recording: Science and Mediumship together or broken up. Okay.
All right.
Okay. All right. So we're going live. Okay. I think. Hang on. I think we gotta refresh. Oh.
And refresh.
And we're back.
And refresh.
I keep refreshing and a refresh.
And refresh. I'm not even looking it up. I can't see it until like 2 days later.
Oh, okay. All right. That's okay. I'm gonna. Okay. All right, Jeffy.
Speaking of the weather, though, it has been raining out here for like 3 days now.
Oh, really?
But yeah, you know what a ghost hates about the rain?
What?
Dampens his spirit. Dampens his spirit.
I thought you were close to Niagara. That's why it
Oh, I
was.
am like 20 minutes away.
Yeah, I thought the weather was being all silly because of that.
Possibly.
Oh man,
It
dang,
rained today, but it was super nice. Oh
super
yeah,
nice.
go on.
Yeah, go ahead.
Nope, you go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, look at my pom poms in my hair. I'm
Oh,
gonna.
I see them.
I posted yesterday that they're like little pom poms on my hair, so I'm like my own cheerleader. Like, yeah, girl, let's do live.
Who acts like that?
It's funny because they look gray, but it's like super light purple. It's
Oh
funny.
no, they look great from here. It looks silver.
Yeah, no, they're purple. It's look at you.
It's a little excessive.
Oh, look at this, my little love light.
Just say evolve.
No, it says
Just
love.
say evolve.
No,
Oh,
evil, of all. All right, Jeffrey. So today on this week's episode of So Much JENergy, we are talking about science and mediumship. And are they together or are they broken up? Right? How do
we
you
don't
feel
know.
about science and mediumship? Do you feel like there's a way to measure mediumship? Is there like a medium measurement?
No, it's a lot like I would say it's a lot like the like paranormal. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
It's like, yeah, it's people experience it and people witness it, but there's not really a way to measure it. There's no way to say, you know what I mean? It's no way to like, I don't know, I want to say certify it.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. Well, and because if you have a test, it's kind of like when I applied for Guinness Book of World Record for laughing. They said there's
Right.
no way to measure that. There's no, because how do you consider like how many breaths are you taking, or like what's considered a laugh? Like how long is a
Right.
laugh? You know,
And yeah,
and it's how do you measure it? And so there have been studies done. And then really what I found is that the conclusion is they call it inconclusive because there's not really a way to consider it a measurement. But what they did
right.
come to the conclusion of is that they didn't have an answer of how the people knew that information. You know what
It's
I mean?
that. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
that. It's like a lot of unexplainable stuff happens, but you can't say it's ghosts, but you still can't explain it. It's like UFOs. They're unexplainable. You know what I mean?
Right. They're out
It's
there,
like
but
that.
yeah.
They're out there, but we have
Same thing
yet
with
to.
Bigfoot. We know that he's there, and she's there, but we can't say, like, how do we measure that? I mean, I hear them knocking in the forest every time I go out there,
Oh yeah.
you know? But yeah, with a measurement, there's not really a way to measure. And plus, what I was reading too in some of the studies was that they they felt they couldn't tell if the sitter, the person that was sitting for the reader, was giving them like if it was like a true validation. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you feel like that they could get somebody that's a sitter that has no connection to this person whatsoever. Even the
Yes.
people verifying it or judging it, it could be one of their relatives. Do you know what I'm
Yes.
saying?
Yes. Yep. So one of the claims is that certain mediums can produce accurate, specific information about the deceased without sensory cues. So they did say that, and then they said, as an example, sitters rate multiple readings without knowing which one was theirs, and some results showed sitters could reliably pick out the correct one. So, like, if you're in a gallery and you're have if I you're one of 500 people and I say I'm over here, I feel like, Jeff, this is your grandma, and this is about her, and then you're like, yeah, all that fits. But then it's almost like they have a trust issue with the person that they're asking to validate.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I could see that.
And mediums get their information from all different ways, right? Like, some people know it, some people see it, some people hear it, some people feel it. So how can you measure when people are getting the information in different ways?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't
Yeah.
know.
There was a study done with let me just check here because I don't want to get it wrong. It was like a brain test, right? So it was yeah, EEG. So they can test the brain activity. So there was EEG findings from 6 pre-screened mediums that suggest that the specific mental state occurring during communication with the spirit may differ from normal thinking or imagination. And I would agree with that. I wish I could get measured. I wish I knew where I could, like, have somebody just scan my brain while I'm doing it,
Yeah.
because it's almost like you change your brain wave and it's like a meditative state. Like, if you were
Right.
talking to me as I'm talking to a spirit, I can tell that it's in a different space because there's no space, time, there's no sense. That's why I always have to set a timer, because, like, I'm in la la land. You know what I mean?
Right.
But there's just a different sense of presence, when you're communicating with the spirit, because it's almost like um, you're so tapped into the way that you're getting the information. If it's like visual, like, you keep looking to them to see it, and then you're giving the
Yeah.
information, but you're also a facilitator of the information to get it to your sitter.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder, oh gosh, I was just thinking about, how, like, you can feel energy. Have you ever just, like, felt something that's there but you didn't see it? Like,
No. I mean,
if somebody, let's say, if you walk in somewhere that they're like, if you're at the hotel and somebody had a big fight in that room right before you got there, could you feel that?
I don't know. I don't
Oh.
know. I've never walked into a room and thought that.
Oh, okay. Because it's almost like that sense of energy. It's kind of like a pig pen. You know what I mean? Like, when people get in a fight, or if there's, like, negative energy or just a lot of energy in there. If I walk in there, I can feel, like, what has happened in there.
Right.
Yeah, it's almost like residual. Kind
Right.
of like a.
No, I get what you're saying. I just have never experienced that or I've never thought that.
Yeah. Have you ever felt? Do you feel energy, like, if you walk into a house that you would consider to be haunted?
Yeah, see, it's in that sense I have. I feel like
Yeah.
that's why I was kind of hesitant when you asked me because yeah, when I was making a documentary about haunted places, I was like expected to feel and hear and see things. You know what I mean? So I was more attuned to that at the time
Yeah.
because going in here I felt like this, oh yeah, this place is haunted. It's dog get out.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I was already in that feeling of like, hopefully something happens. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, I was trying to see if we had any chats, any questions. Got you questions. Um, yeah, but I was going to share with you too. I remember seeing on Dr. Oz that Teresa Caputo had been on there to do the EEG for them to scan her brain waves when she was doing a reading. And that's kind of how they knew that she was in like an altered state.
Hmm.
And that's kind of how, like, if you're doing channeling, you know, like if you're channeling spirit or messages, that's how it would be because you have to be in an altered state to be able to get that information,
Right.
which is really interesting because you would think, a lot of people, not to get like super religious, but a lot of people, pastors and priests and things like that, when they are like, hey, I'm getting the word of the spirit or the spirit of, whoever, and they're given a message, it's like uh either a channeled message or like inspired speech is what that can be considered. So
Gotcha.
have you ever felt like you've said something, you're like, oh gosh, I don't even know where that came from?
Yeah, I have done that, and yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I can remember we were driving down the road and Josh and we were in the car and one of our friends was asking hi Tara, uh was asking what are these no, she's on Facebook chat.
I know.
Looking behind you. Who is
I
it?
know.
Hey, who is it? um no, they were like, hey, what are those like little balls on the lines across the like over the highway? And I was like, oh, those are weather balls. And I was like, how, what, I don't even know. And they were like, how do you know that? I was like, I don't know how I even knew that. It was like a weather measure.
Is that what they are?
Yeah.
I thought they were just there so that they make the top line noticeable to aircraft.
No, these are like, no, they measure the wind and the, like when they're moving, it measures the wind and the,
They're on the power lines, though.
no, they're like different than
Oh,
the power line ones.
gotcha.
Yeah, but they still swing over, well, I say
Yeah.
because they're moving, but I had no idea. One time we were in Jonesboro and somebody's like, "What are these concrete steps out here?" And I was like, "Oh, that's from the like 1800s when the horse carriage would pull up and you had to step up on that and get in the carriage." They were like, "Do you know that?" And I was like, "I don't even know how I knew that." And that's
I don't know.
exactly what it
Just said it.
was. Yeah, they were like
Yeah.
steps in right by the road.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, God,
Like
I don't
aiming
know.
at the road.
Yeah. Yep, like a two stepper and just right in the middle. I mean, it looks like it blast your shin on it right now.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Eyes, keep your eyes on the road. Yeah, but even just walking through like different towns and like feeling the energy and I feel like it's kind of the same thing with just paranormal devices.
Yeah.
Oh, let me ask you this. One of my mediumship friends mentioned this, and I wanted to get your take on it. She had mentioned that it's not, she didn't feel it was respectful to call people that have passed like ghost because they used to be people. She feels like a spirit. Like spirit is a nicer name. Like ghost is disrespectful. So I just want to get like, how's your feeling on that?
No, I don't think Ghost is disrespectful. I mean, yeah, they were a person, but like, you can't call them a person now because they're not breathing. You have to have a name for them.
Well, don't you feel like too though if once they leave their body, it's still their energy? Like their
Yeah, but just
energy
by
just
calling
changes?
them a ghost, is ghost or a spirit, you're just giving them a different label. It's just a different 5 or 6 letter word. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah.
Either way, you're still calling them not human.
I think because there's negative connotation around ghost. Ghost sounds like
Well, I think it's
ooh.
that. It's if anything, it's that, but I don't
Yeah,
think it's disrespectful. No,
yeah.
I think there is a different connotation that comes with it. Yeah, but honestly, like if I was to tell you, like, hey, last night walking out to the parking lot, I seen a ghost. Like, does that sound derogatory or anything? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, no, you would know what I'm talking, and I don't. I don't know. I would call it a ghost.
Well, I think too, if I say like, oh, I saw spirits in the parking lot, I mean that could be
Well,
alcohol.
it could
I
be,
mean, it
but
could be
I
like
think
beer bottles all over.
I do think that if somebody was to say, "Hey, I seen a ghost," you're talking like an apparition.
Yeah,
Like you see like the outline of a person. You know what I mean? If I
right.
was to say like, "Hey, I think I seen a spirit," to me that would almost imply like a glowing ball of energy or like a something.
Oh,
A
okay.
spirit, I don't ever get the if some when you people talk about spirits, I don't get the impression of like an embodied figure. You know what I mean? But if
Oh, okay.
somebody's like, "Hey, I seen a ghost," the first thing I picture is a full apparition. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
But spirit could be like, "Hey, the spirit was messing with me last night, flicking the lights." That makes sense. But if I was like, "Hey, this ghost was flicking the lights last night," I picture like a guy standing there, like, it's like, "Hey, buddy, what are you doing?" You know what I mean? If I was like, "Hey, the spirit's been following me around for like 3 days,
yeah,
doing weird things, knocking on stuff," but if I'm like, "Hey, this ghost's been following me around for 3 days, not saying stuff, knocking on things," I picture the spirit behind me, just like, "Hey,"
yeah,
like, but you could see them. Does that, you know what I mean?
yeah,
But
yeah,
I don't think one word or another is any more offensive than the other.
yeah. So a spirit feels more like orbish to you.
Yeah, yeah. Like
Yeah,
I think a spirit could be a sound. I mean, obviously it's energy, but it's a lot. It can do a lot more. Where a
yeah.
ghost, I feel like a ghost is like an apparition that's just stuck. Like they could be running one of those ghosts that are just
Oh, like a
constantly
loop.
walking up the stairs.
Yeah,
Like to me, when you say a ghost, like that's what I kind of figure. You know what I mean? Where a spirit is more like doing stuff, knocking on things, flashing lights.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Moving objects. Where like a go. Yeah, I don't
yeah,
know. I don't know. I'd rather be in contact, I think, with a spirit than a ghost. A ghost, I feel like, is someone just sitting right here next to me. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah. I got you. I guess when I use the word spirit, I just am using it in all context of the energy.
Right.
Yeah. And my timer never set. I set it and it's not even on there. It's like the I always set it for 20 minutes and it never works. Look, this doesn't even look like I set it.
Like
Spirit's like, girl, you say
spirits,
what
like
you need to say in whatever amount of time you
you
need to
take the
say it.
time. You take your time.
Yeah, you and your pom poms get going. They were like, we like those ghosty, orby spirit pom poms. That's the spirit. That's what I was like. Hey, I have the spirit. You have the spirit. I can talk to the spirit.
All right, here's a question I have. I was going
Okay.
to ask you about this when we were done recording, but we're
Yeah.
talking about ghosts and spirits.
Mm.
All right, I work with a guy, right?
Okay.
His mom passed away 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
She was young. It was like a heart attack out of the middle of nowhere.
Oh, shoot.
And I don't want to say like young, she was like around our age.
Yeah, that's young.
But like nobody's seen it coming. But his
Yeah.
dad has had like a ridiculous amount of health issues and just
Mm.
like, you know what I mean? And he's like going downhill. And then all of a sudden she just had a heart attack. Now he had asked me, he's like, "Am I crazy?" He's like, and he showed me a video on his phone, and he said he has this rock that sits on this table,
Okay.
and I think his mom gave it to him,
Okay.
and the it was supposed to work and light up, but it's never worked. It's
Right.
like a rock that has a cross. He's religious too.
Okay.
It's a rock that has a cross, and then like some words and something else was going on
Okay.
over here.
Like inspirational?
Yeah,
Yeah.
inspirational. His mom gave it to him like a year ago or
Okay.
something for something.
Yeah.
And so when she passed, he was like, "Oh, I should do something with that rock." So he got it out and put it in his living room. Okay, fast forward. Now he was playing he's like, "Look at this video." And he on this video, he's sitting there in his chair in his house. And he said he got a real weird feeling of like that his mom was like right there with him all of a sudden.
Yeah.
And so he got his phone out and he hit record. And he just happened to kind of like look around and his phone is aiming at the rock right next to him. And he's like, "Mom, are you here with me?" And all of a sudden, the rock lit up super bright and then went away. And he said the rock never worked before that, and it hasn't done it since.
Oh
But
my gosh.
he's like, "Do you think that could have been my mom?" I go, "Absolutely." I go, "Well, obviously,
100%.
yeah." And he's like, "What's even crazier is I have it on video." He's
Yeah.
like, and my kid sat there. His kid's like 6.
Okay.
He's like, his wife and kid came home like not long after that. He was losing his mind, like out of like, oh, he couldn't believe it happened. So the wife comes in with groceries. He's going a mile a minute talking to her. His kid overhears him, and his kid goes over, and now the kid keeps picking up the rock, and he's like, Mima, do you love me? Make the rock glow. And now the rock won't do anything.
Oh no.
But it kind of even reinforces more to him is like, why did it do it right there at that second
Yeah.
when he had his phone out and was recording, like, and it's never done it before or after. And he was like, what should
Well,
I do with that? And I go, honestly, I go, you should talk to my sister. I go, that's all. And he's like, why? And he's like, well, he started asking me, he's like, do you believe in spirits? Do you think that when people pass that they can, communicate with people on the other side? And I go, absolutely.
yeah.
I go, I do believe that like your spirit is an energy. And I go,
Yeah.
but it does, I know also it takes a lot of energy for a spirit to do anything,
Right.
especially to like make a rock light up. I
Yeah.
feel like that's a lot of like it takes a lot, I believe, for a spirit to have to do that.
Yeah.
He's
And I
like,
don't know
okay,
what
so
kind of training they have to go through. Because you know what I mean? Because there's times where, like, during readings, I'll have a spirit come to me and say that I'm at their house all the time. And, like, some people, they've told me, I don't know how to use my energy yet to do the things to let them know I'm there. But they'll be touching them, but it'll feel like static. Or they'll, so unless you believe it or you're open to it, because some people are not open to, like, don't to be touching my hand and don't be touching me and don't be, but they'll tell me that, like, oh, I'm touching their hand and it's, but they can't feel it, or
yeah,
don't believe it's me. But there's just different things that spirits can do for sure. And it is interesting because I don't know, you know, how is it that a spirit that left 15 years ago is trying to figure out energy, and then the person that just left, a minute ago is like blowing out lights. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
I don't
interesting.
know.
Um, I will share this, that there was a practice circle that we were in today, and someone came through, um, that had left on their own accord. Okay. And before that person left, they left a note saying, I don't know if there's anything on the other side, but I hope I'm wrong. You know what I mean? Meaning, like, they did not believe that there was, they just believed that when they left their body, that was it for them. And they came through today and said, I'm here. Like, I can't believe it. And they were sharing a message. And I, it like took my breath away. You know what I mean? Because, like, for somebody to leave a note for their family to say, I don't, I hope I'm wrong. And then for them to come back and to say, look, I'm fine. I'm at peace, is such a special message for their family. And them. I guess I was more excited for that person to know that they were wrong,
Right.
and then for just to be in a practice circle that somebody's practicing and doesn't even trust her own self. She's like, I feel like I'm just making all this up. And I was like, no, like, she only had 2 minutes to get somebody, get who it is, give the information, and then share this. And she's like, had it like boom, boom, boom. Like, but when you have 2 minutes, you don't have time to be down yourself.
Right. You just got to keep moving forward.
Yeah. Yeah, you just gotta keep going. I know. It was magical.
I
Yeah.
did find this out though. This is like total separate. No, this
Yeah.
just pertains also to work. I worked with the guy back at Lee like years ago. We're talking maybe 7, 8 years ago,
Okay.
right? He started at this company, and I'm working out here on this job with him.
Oh yeah.
And he was like, dude, I respect you so much. He's like, I gotta tell you. He's like, do you remember when we did this job out at Lee? Blah blah blah. And I go, yeah, I was there. He's like, you told me something at that job. He said that has stuck with me. He's like, and I have kicked ass since then. I go, what's that? Because even I'm like,
We're like,
I'm,
dude,
what's this information?
we're like, I
And
say so many stupid things throughout the
it's
day. Like,
it's that, and I get that a lot from
yeah,
guys that like,
yeah,
especially guys I've known for years. Like, do you remember that time you were talking about your sock wife? I'm like, no. Like that just happened the other day, and this guy's like, "Oh yeah, you went on this whole rant about how you have a sock version of your wife and blah blah blah." And I'm like, I have don't even know what you're talking about.
So what?
Besides that, though,
So what this guy say?
but this guy was like, he's like, we were working on a job. He's like, and I'd ask you like, how come you guys get so much done in a day? He's like, and you had said you just work, constantly work, moving forward. Doesn't matter what I'm doing,
Yeah,
I'm always moving forward, and I do work like that. That is
yeah,
how I function. I'm surprised this guy even like remembered me telling him that.
yeah,
I even told him, you don't have to work fast, you don't have to bust ass, you don't have to work yourself to death. You just always have to be moving forward. And no matter what, at the end of the day, you're gonna have stuff accomplished.
right.
I go, but you're not busting ass. I go,
Yeah,
but you're always, no matter what you're doing, it's moving the job forward.
yeah,
Doesn't matter.
yeah,
And he's like, you told me that. He's like, and I've stuck with that. He's like, and I still use that today. I go, that's fucked up because I do. That is like, I don't remember telling this guy that, but
yeah,
I have told people that before, and that is
yeah,
how I work.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like, I don't just run around like a chicken with my head cut off, looking like a train wreck, because
yeah.
we work with them guys too.
Oh,
And then at the end of the day, you look back and it's just like carnage in their wake. You know what I mean? But then
yeah.
you look back at like what we have done and it's like, oh,
Right,
and it's like
right.
another day down,
Yeah,
And
yeah,
the guy even said it changes his old attitude about where we had worked at together at the time. And
yeah.
he said he just stays positive because no matter what, he doesn't stress out, doesn't freak out, doesn't flip out. He's like, I just keep moving forward. Doesn't
That's
even.
awesome.
I
And
know it really made me feel like, oh, good for that guy. I'm glad like something I said like helped him out because
yeah,
and I knew that was something I must have said because that is stuff that I would say.
yeah. I just listened to a podcast this morning talking about something not even related to any of this. But
Oh,
I was just hearing something because in there he said, create an incidence of coincidence. And I was like, yeah, like put that out there and then you think that everything's a coincidence, right? Like, oh,
yeah,
this is a great coincidence. But like how awesome for you to just say something to that guy and it just happened to be what he needed to hear to like create an entire shift with
but
that
he said
nugget.
that yeah. I mean, I don't know what kind of situation he was in at our old employer
Right.
as far as like how that was going, but he said it turned his whole outlook on the day around. Every day he said he quit stressing out and freaking out about jobs and running around like a chicken with his head cut off.
Yeah.
He's like, you can just keep moving forward and then
Right.
stuff gets done.
Didn't you notice too, like the people that do who are like creating that other carnage are just energetic messes? You know what I mean by
Yes,
that? And like
absolutely.
they can
Because I,
suck the life right out of you.
yeah,
Yeah.
that or I don't even, yeah, I got one of them guys on our job now.
Yeah. 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 And you're
He's
like, dude,
young.
you don't have to be.
And anytime people bitch about him, I don't know why I'm whispering. He might be in the room next to me. I don't know.
I mean, we're
But,
only live on Facebook. Nobody,
but every time
nothing's happening.
but when people complain about him, you know what I mean? It's just like, oh, that's just, oh yeah, it's
Yeah.
just how he is. This, and it's like, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I think too, sometimes
I
people come in and they're trying to prove themselves and they want to feel worthy and
That's this guy.
yeah.
And we get that. But the problem is you're 20.
Yeah.
You have all the time. We don't need you to work and know everything that we know and work how we work
Right.
because
We're here
we
to
weren't
help
like that.
you, dude. We're
Yeah, and
on
we
the
weren't
same
like that,
team.
dude. Like we got 25 or more years on you. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I get it. Like, you want to run around and you want to be that guy and you want to do everything as fast and efficient as you can, but like at the same time, like we're losing a lot of tools. You're leaving stuff all over the place. You know what I mean? You're leaving stuff half done
Like bring
because you
your
want to
excitement level down a little bit. We got
yeah,
to come
because
back to earth.
you're so eager to come back and be like, "Hey, I got it done. What else do you need?"
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That like, and it's just like, yeah, but the job ain't done when we're losing half our tools and you got all this stuff going on here. Like, take a second, go back,
Yeah.
pick up what you got, gather all that shit together, then come
Do you
back.
feel like he's
Then we'll
like
move forward.
does it feel like you when you were 20?
No, I was a lot more. I was definitely energetic like that, but I was more mindful of
Oh,
what I was doing,
yeah.
and that what I'm doing is it's other people's tools I'm using to do it
Oh,
with. You
gotcha.
know what I mean? I at
Yeah.
least had that sense, and honestly, that's probably from Dad. You know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah,
Honestly,
you're
just
about to get yelled at. And his was
taking
labeled and
care of Dad's.
organized and all the
Yeah,
things.
but a lot of people's tools are, and when you're
Yeah.
younger and you're borrowing everybody else's stuff, then you know what I mean. But even
Yeah.
at a younger age, I knew right off the rip, like, yeah, you don't just go treating people's stuff like that. Like, You know what I mean? Dad wasn't gonna let that happen in his garage.
Oh no, no sir, no ma'am, no. I used to just go take stuff to see if he'd find it missing. And no joke, he would have had 22 screwdrivers, and the one I took up in my bedroom to like put up a picture or like fix something. And he's like, ah, where's my red screwdriver that's a Phillips that's, it's this with the red and black handle. Where is that? And you're like, dude, you have like 18 other ones.
The best was going through some of his tools and then like taking a few and wrapping them up and giving them back to
Yeah, and then he's like, oh man,
or
this is
stuff that
great.
I have borrowed and taken to my house,
Yeah. Oops.
wrapping it up and giving it back to
And you're
him.
like, here's a gift. Thanks for
And
letting me borrow that.
he's like, I didn't even know you had that. I went out and fucking bought one. Guess you don't need this one now, do you?
Well, I guess we both have a set now. So
Yeah.
thanks a
Oh,
lot. Yeah.
matching.
Tell him it was a ghost. Tell him it was the spirits next time. Just be like, oh, somebody wanted me to have that. It was a spirit that brought it over.
Oh yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Or if it was,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh man, good times. Well, is there anything else you want to add about science and the spirits?
No, I do think like, and again, like I said, with like as far as I know, with like Bigfoot, and I mean, I don't even know if I want to go as far as aliens, but definitely spirits. Is that it does suck because there's no way. It's kind of like Bigfoot and Loch Ness in the sense that like people have experiences and have witnessed things and seen things and heard things,
Right.
but yeah, there is no scientific way to 100% prove it.
Yeah.
I mean, people have even had encounters with like a ghost or Bigfoot and gone and taken a lie detector
Yeah.
and it still comes back as positive. So it's like,
Well, and the
but there's,
same, if somebody has like an out of body experience and then
yeah,
comes back and is like super spiritual or super religious or
no,
whatever
it's a
they,
100% like that. That
yeah,
people can't wrap their minds around that somebody may know something about them or about a loved one.
right.
You know what I mean? There's, what can you do with? There's nothing you can do to
Yeah.
measure that.
Yeah. And that's okay. You know what I mean? Like,
You
not
know, I'd
everyone
like
has
to
to
think that
understand it. I mean,
that's kind of like I'd almost like to think that like the person that had passed and had communicating from the other side and had said, "Hey, I was wrong. There is another side, and I'm here, and it
yeah,
is wonderful."
right.
You know what I mean? But like that's not proof enough to say that yes, that exists.
Yeah.
Like
And
if
people won't believe it
no,
anyway.
it's that people aren't going to believe it. So like until they, you know what I mean?
And yeah,
What
and I mean,
proof do
that's
you need?
totally their
What other
prerogative.
proof do you need besides somebody saying this is real, this has happened, I
Well,
am
I think
experiencing
the
it.
only way in they probably won't even be open to it is to have their own experience.
Right, but you'd have to do that to every individual. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Before it
Well,
would just
everybody has the
became,
ability. A lot of people turn it off because they don't believe it.
or just
Everybody
aren't
has,
attuned to it.
yeah, yep. Everybody has the like sixth sense or their psychic
Right.
ability, and everyone's like, "Oh, that's a bunch of hooey." Thing is, we get messages all day, every day. It's just some people have it turned off and they ignore it.
Yeah.
you know it's same thing with your gut feeling. If you think about that, how many people have turned their gut feeling off, and that's a built-in sensory. That's our body is just a receiving
Yeah.
organ,
And
and
what's
then
crazy, and you've used that since you were a kid. Like
yeah,
everybody has. Everybody's used at least their gut feeling
right,
since they were kids. They
yeah,
go to that people, go to a friend's house where you get that weird feeling about a relative or you know what I mean? It's
yeah.
like people just, I don't
And
know.
then when you ignore
Yeah.
it, everybody's like, I should have listened to my gut. I should have listened to my feeling I had. I should have, whatever. Yeah, should have, would have.
Yeah.
You didn't. So
Yeah.
yeah, but that's instinct. That's your intuition. That's your psychic ability. You can call it whatever you want. It's built in, and you all have it. It's just
Yeah.
some people don't want to investigate or use that. Thing is, like, I feel like it's a compass at all times. You know what I mean? You have this
Yeah.
free radar built in to use it
Right there.
anytime, and then you're like, no, I'm just gonna ignore it because I know more than
Yeah.
No, no. Why
No.
wouldn't
And
I
who
trust that?
I don't know. I get like that. Like it's weird that you brought it up because I get like that before in the past about spirits. I get like that about aliens. I get like
Yeah,
that about Bigfoot. You know what I mean? Like
yeah, yeah.
what can you do?
I don't know. I don't. We're all just in the same universe, so why can't we just all be friends and like all just speak each other's languages? You know what I
I
mean?
don't. Yeah, I
Yeah,
hear you.
I know.
I hear you.
I don't know. So do you feel like science is with mediumship and like all the other things, or do you feel like it's against it?
No, I do feel like it's with it because I feel like science is still working on ways to try to detect it,
Yeah,
try to, I don't want to say enhance it, but like assist it. You know what I
yeah,
mean? I do feel like we're still in the sense of like, if you look at it like this, we're still using like caveman type tools in the sense of like cards, pendulums,
right.
crystal balls. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
In that sense, I feel like we're in like the medieval times
yeah,
as opposed to, like we need to get to where we are, like we're using more modern
right. Like when we
stuff.
just touch a button and like we like the spirit can just like walk into and we can see the hologram and like
Right. Or like, yeah, I think at some point, like, yeah, not only will we be able to detect it, like I think mediums will start doing things like I wouldn't be surprised if we had an app at some point in like 50 years.
yeah.
Like if we had an app that you could just talk to a past loved one through
Mm,
an app somehow because of something they had done when they were alive.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah,
Like I don't
yeah.
know where we can go as far as like I'm trying to keep that medieval tool on an upward trajectory.
Yeah, let me tell you this. So I will tell you this. I had a reading one time. It was actually with our cousin. Um, she walked right up to me and she had a 6-year-old boy with her. And our cousin Alicia, she was a teacher, and I didn't know if the little boy was like someone in her class or did she know him. And when I asked him, he said no, that they just met on the other side. And then all of a sudden we're walking down this long hallway and we're in this like hospital, but it's like a laboratory. Like we're above the hospital, but it's like we're in the hallway of a laboratory. And I'm looking down and he's like, "Yeah, I'm working on this cure." And I was like, "Oh, that's amazing." And he's like, "Yeah, as soon as I get it ready, I'm going to beam it down to somebody." And the way he said it was just like a kindergarten level, right? Or he would have been a first grader. He said, "I'm going to beam it down." And I thought, isn't that crazy? Because when we are in like, oh, I have chills on the back of my head. When we're about to fall asleep and we're like, we get that amazing idea,
Yeah,
he's
it's like
gonna beam that down to someone.
he's beaming it or like bestow
Yes.
that inspiration
Yes.
upon, you know what I mean?
Yes, and
Someone.
he told me that, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, what if that's how we get really good ideas? We're just beamed down." And I thought, what an awesome first grader explanation of like what is happening. And not only
Of
that,
what's
I
gonna
had so many
happen.
questions, but I couldn't ask him at the, because I'm like, "Dude, you're 6 years old. Like, what are you trying to cure? Like, you're 6." You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But I
Yeah.
almost feel like it was something that had happened to him that he was trying to prevent from it taking other children is how that felt. And our cousin was a teacher of teachers, and I feel like she was there, not so much like a supervisor but like a mentor and like giving him the space of that,
Gotcha.
which was
Hmm.
amazing. Beam it down.
Beam it down. Nice. Nice.
I know. So yeah, maybe think about that when you get a good idea, like who beamed it.
That is true.
I
I'm gonna start
know.
trying to chalk and try to, yeah.
Yeah.
I
Hmm.
don't know. Is it someone do that? So yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
I just blew your mind. Like, are these even my thoughts anymore? What is happening?
You got me. You got me thinking, was that app that can communicate with people on the other side? Was that an idea that just came from someone?
Yeah. Awesome. All right, Jeffy. Well, good talking to you about science and mediumship and Bigfoot and the aliens and your work people and incidents of coincidence.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Thanks for
So,
having me, Jen.
thanks for
This has
being
been a
here.
fun topic. I like this topic.
That was good. That was
This is a good
good.
topic.
It was a good time. So, yeah, if anyone has any questions, feel free to put them in the chat and we'll jump back at you.
All right.
Okay,
Good deal.
cool. Okay. All right. Hang
Did
on
you
a second.
hold on? Hold on? Did you stop Zoom
I
or did you
stopped
stop Facebook?
Facebook.
Oh, all right.
Oh, what happened?
Because I just for Facebook, I did have a story I wanted to tell you
Oh
this week.
shoot.
It's not pertaining to anything we were talking about.
Oh.
But this is what's listen to this. So I woke up like 2 or 3 days in a row with like gut rot. Like my
Oh
I feel like I
shit.
just have rocks in my stomach.
Yeah.
And I couldn't tell if it was like, do I need to poop? I've pooped regularly. Like,
Yeah.
but all I can feel is like whatever is in there, I need to shit this out,
Oh
like
my
fierce.
God.
And so I went to the bathroom today like 3 times trying to like
Get
forcing
it
myself
out.
to poop, but I
Yeah.
didn't want to like I've done that before where I've given myself a hemorrhoid
Oh God.
because of pushing too hard or even
Yeah.
going to the bathroom 3 times, dropping a little turd nugget. And we work in shitty factories, you know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah.
And then wiping too much with the
Oh
sandpaper ass paper, I've gotten a hemorrhoid from that. And
God.
I'm like, dude, my gut is fucking tore up.
Yeah.
And so at lunch, the guy, one of the dudes at work was like, hey, I'm going to run to the grocery store at lunch because we've just been grilling out and shit for
Yeah.
food. We get tired of eating out.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, I'm going to run to the grocery store and pick up some burgers and hot dogs to make at lunch. Do you want to go? I'm like, yeah, I'm going to go. I need to get some. So I went there, and there's this medicine I've used before in the past when I get like back pains.
Oh yeah.
Somebody told me about it. It was called Dulcolax. My
Oh
buddy's wife was a nurse
yeah.
or a doctor, and she's like, "Hey, your friend at work, tell him to try Dulcolax." And I've recommended it to Dad, and it
Yeah.
worked for him when
Yeah.
he was backed up. And so I'm like, I'm gonna go get Dulcolax because I know like when I take Dulcolax, like
It's game on.
yes, it breaks down everything in your stomach. You might poop like 3 times, but it is like liquid.
It's like bringing
It's
stuff out from when you were 10.
yes. And so I'm like, well, I don't want to have to deal with that. Like, I knew what, but I had to get rid of it.
Right.
And so we go to the grocery store, and I'm looking, and I'm like, oh, they got Dulcolax chewables, like these, like
Oh, okay.
They're not gummies. They're
Yeah.
like sweet tarts
Yeah.
almost. I'm
Yeah,
like, I'm
yeah.
gonna try these instead because the
Right.
other one I know like gets me. And I read the pack, and it's like works in a half hour to 3 hours, and it's like an
Okay.
adult can take four, don't exceed six. So right off the get, I took six. That was at 11. It has been almost 8 hours and I've had nothing. And all day at work, I've been driving a high low, cutting through the parking lot, hitting bumps, and all day playing this game of like, am I going to shit myself?
Yeah.
That's like, I was going to talk about. If you want to have like the rush of like, you want to have like an action filled day, like you should do that. You should
Yeah.
take all these pills and just see like, you going to shit yourself?
It
What's
would
gonna happen?
don't
Am I
laugh
gonna get
too
all the
hard.
way? Am I gonna laugh? Am I gonna climb all the way up to the top of the press where it takes me 10 minutes to climb back down? And I get up there because when I take Dulcolax, your stomach gurgles like,
Yeah.
and you got like 2 minutes
Right.
tops, and like you don't trust anything.
It's yeah. It's coming out whether you're ready or not.
Yeah, and I've been
Yes.
living like that since 11 this morning.
Oh my God.
I know,
Well, you also took the max of the Dulcomax.
but why hasn't it worked yet? Now I'm afraid I'm gonna shit this hotel bed after I go to sleep.
That or you're gonna shit a brick.
And I pooped like 3 times today trying to get rid of the gut rot.
Yeah.
And like it went away after lunch. It went away yesterday after lunch, not even like forcing it. It just was like, I don't know. I don't know what it is that's sitting inside me that's just like, yeah.
It's like, ugh, no good. Hey, super quick, that story I told, that was about Noel,
Which one?
about leaving the suicide note.
Oh,
Say that was
and
about
saying that
Noel.
he was wrong. There is another
Yeah.
Sam.
Yeah. Crazy.
Real quick
So,
though, what should I do about my friend Ryan that I work with that thinks his mom's trying to communicate with him?
she
But
is. Not only
I
that,
know, but he needs to try to find somebody that can help him communicate with her.
oh, well, I
And
mean,
I feel like also privately, like he hadn't said anything to me, but I feel like he's not dealing with his mom's passing that well
yeah,
because it did come way sudden.
right.
And I feel like his problem too is I think like his mom and his wife never got along,
Oh,
like ever.
oh, shoot.
And now you want to hear some bullshit? This between us.
Oh, want me to stop recording? Okay, see you next
Yeah.
week. Bye.